But yeah, so for those who don't know, Big Drew, a fixture in the hip hop scene, the soca scene, the reggae scene in Calgary, for quite some time. The Beat Matrix. Jeez, we could go on but do you want to start at the groove, or do you want to start at?
Well, just very quickly. Clearly, you're not from Canada.
No.
So very quickly for all the listeners who may not know your history.
Sure.
Let them know.
Okay, so I came to Canada, Calgary specifically. I'm one of those rare ones. Came up from Trinidad and Tobago. I spent maybe 2 months in Toronto with some of the family, and my parents worked in oil and gas, so sure enough, we end up in Alberta. I had no idea about the province. My sister, my 2 brothers, my parents, and we ended up here.
Did you know much about Canada?
Yeah, but again, it's a standard, like late 80s, early 90s view of Canada is Toronto, Montreal.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Vancouver.
And then igloos.
Maybe, and that's a maybe for Vancouver.
A maybe, right? So I do specifically remember that. One of my first memories of my dad telling us that we're moving, he shows us a globe. And he
yeah, that's awesome.
And then he tilts the globe. So we're going from the equator. He tilts the globe. I don't know if you've ever really looked at the globe to take a look at Canada.
It's up there.
But but the ones that they sell in the Caribbean, it's just the snow-capped portion at the top. So you imagine you're coming up at a very impressionable age.
Is that globe still in Trinidad?
No, it's in Toronto. It's still in the house.
You
know, parents don't get rid of stuff.
No, for sure not.
Yeah, I think it's still tilted the same way. If I go there right now, it's still tilted.
I want that.
Next time I get there, I'm going to take a picture of that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to see.
So you basically thought you were moving in beside, Santa was going to be your neighbor.
Down the street at least.
Yeah,
at least for sure. Like presents he was stopping at our house first.
And this was late 80s, you said?
Yeah, 89.
89.
So he tilts the globe. Yeah. He says,
"This is where we're going." It was either Calgary, which we hadn't heard of, or Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it makes 100% sense. But
Oil and gas, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we ended up here, and of course, culture shock hits. It's not. I mean, people still talk about in Alberta and whatever, but I think we have progressed significantly.
100,000%.
Since you guys, definitely.
Well, even since 2000.
I think anywhere in the world, social media has allowed people to just, create their own pockets. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you can find it wherever you're at now.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't exist where you're at, you could curate it and create it 100%.
Right. So obviously it wasn't that, but I had this huge culture shock. My accent was very, very thick.
It was.
Yeah. Thanks, Erwin.
It comes out you when you get mad.
It does, actually. It does. Or if I'm in a soca party, it comes out a lot too.
When you're with friends, yes.
Yes. And what ended up happening was just, my brothers and myself was a matter of we wanted to get in where we fit in. And in, the lack of that sort of environment happening, music started, parties started, discussions started, groups started. But this is
we're talking about 1990 to 90. I'm gonna say 3.
Oh yeah. Okay. So 19. Like you want to talk about just the impression of
because because the groove was
94,
95, right? So that's what I'm saying. We want to know. Because
how that even started?
How did we get to the groove, right? You know what I mean?
I'll give you the quick one.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So we were literally just there talking about we're in shock.
Right.
I turned on the radio. I think we had AM 106 at that point.
Yeah, the top 10 of 10.
AM 106 was dope.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you can actually meet people today who used to work at that station. But
if you're not a millennial, you'll remember AM 106.
Well, if you don't, you can Google it.
Yeah,
I don't even think you could Google it.
I said it, and I'm like, I don't think you can.
Either way, it was an old radio station, clearly on the AM dial that played commercial radio.
Right.
Rick Sadler was on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the friends that we had in school, everyone would share cassettes. Some of us did have vinyl at that point if we had an album or something like that. The source for all of our music was HMV South Center. Big up Wayne B.
Yo, big up Wayne B.
I don't care where you were in the city, you went to see
You had to.
Yeah.
There's no choice.
He had a shelf with your CDs and your vinyl.
Wayne will be on this show at some point.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wayne's the guy that actually taught me how to DJ.
So DJ Wayne
Crazy.
B.
Yeah.
Wow. That means, yeah.
University, I did a year, 2 years in UFC, and then decided I was going to spread my wings and went to Edmonton.
The big city.
Wow.
You know, I went far away.
You went to go find yourself.
People from Edmonton are just
Yeah, they're like, really? That's far?
you're
No.
really you're laughing at us.
Whatever. I met a couple really cool guys out there I'm still kind of in contact with. And I guess I could put it on record. The long story short was we were hanging around some people who were doing stuff that wasn't necessarily too on the up and up.
Right.
You know, the standard hip-hop dreams.
Yo.
Wasn't me. But we sat there and we were going, listen, we're in school. There's nowhere we're coming home telling people that, you know, we got locked up for doing dirt.
Right.
But how are we going to make money to put ourselves through school?
Yeah.
And, you know, over a couple of rums and whatever else we were talking about at a table, it came up we should just throw a party. And that was 1993.
Okay.
So the first party, and it was Black Pearl Productions.
Beautiful.
Yes, you know, could you get more?
That
you guys
so
can envision.
Beautiful.
You can
I
envision
see
it.
the flyers.
You can see it.
Oh,
I can
The
see
flyer
the
was
flyers.
a full 8.5 by 11. It was run off in black and white.
Yes.
that's exactly what I envisioned.
Exactly. And we did a few of those. None of us were DJs. We just knew quite a few people around.
Right.
Hired a young kid to play, and we told him every song that we wanted to play.
Right.
So his playlist, his skills, our playlist.
What's his name?
Right.
I couldn't.
You can't even remember.
Oh man!
Wow.
Dude, this is how long ago that was. I wasn't responsible for hiring the kid.
Okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to do the flyers and book the venue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like DJ Quake or something from Edmonton. He's like, these motherfuckers don't remember me.
The guy, no, it's not Quake. It's not
Yo, Quake, if it was you, man.
It's not Quake. It's not
Oh,
Harvard
man.
Beat.
Drew doesn't remember you,
No,
man.
that's not it. The guy I used to do the parties with, his name's Errol Henry. Big up E-Dot. He's actually in New York now. Raps too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Still at it, yeah. So we did that for a while. I lasted probably about a year in Edmonton. I came back. Gummy and I had known each other from time. He wasn't known as Gummy at that point. And he was going away to, I want to say, somewhere in BC to do music.
Right.
And I told him before he left, I said, when you come back, because I realized that there was legitimately a way for us to take this very, very niche thing at the time, which was hip-hop, and put together a fairly good party scene. I said, I need someone to do that stuff with me here.
So it was hip hop at that point.
Yeah, 100%.
It wasn't for Gummy dance hall, and it wasn't.
No, it was still like we still were in that scene, but that scene was still like you.
That's even more niche. Than
That wasn't even conceived
you
yet.
Well, not for us, but you go to a reggae party at a hall somewhere, right?
Thorncliffe.
Right,
exactly.
right. Whereas now we were trying to figure out how we can actually get that nightclub experience,
Right.
But we're playing,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, more the palatable music for us rather than hearing this dance music,
Right,
or whatever
right.
it was at the time.
Oh, yeah, it was. It's the worst. Okay.
Yeah, we all went out, right? And we're going, I just don't like what the DJ's playing.
No.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
I
That's
can't even
legitimately
imagine
where it started.
because you guys had laid the groundwork before we started showing
Yeah.
up. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate
But I
it.
couldn't even imagine trying to go to the club in 1991 and seeing I just imagine 2 Unlimited being played everywhere, and I'd want to kill myself.
I mean, there would be a song like Finally would be on.
Yep.
And Robin S would be on, but then you'd get
2 Unlimited,
yeah,
and
or
yeah.
like The Shaman, or something.
But yeah, okay, so
Or it was. I'll say this. It'd get to the point where a DJ would see a pocket of like people of color in the party, and then they would put on young MCs
Bust a Move.
Bust a Move. And then the DJ would legitimately look at you like, "Hey, people of color, I played us. I did something for you." And it became that sort of derogatory feel.
man.
Like, we're doing this for you.
totally
You know,
pandering.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
who is that DJ?
Don't.
Call that guy out.
No, I'm not calling that guy out.
You can,
So you know who it is.
No, I don't. But I know which clubs he was playing at, so we're not
Right.
going there.
yeah.
Because if he were to listen to the dose today, he'd be like, did Drew just bash me?
So Coconut Joe's, right?
I'm not. No, man, I'm not.
CJ's
going
was I don't know what the time was at the time, but
Yeah.
Moonshiners,
there. Wow.
Club 1-800.
But it was a fun time too, in that there was always a place. Like, you talk to guys who were going out then, they would tell you that there was a club they could have gone to every
day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monday through Sunday.
So
Definitely.
you said you already linked with Gummy.
Yeah, but
you knew him
so
before.
Gummy went away. I came back. So the next step was Leo C was doing Caribbean Link Up on Saturday.
Yes.
So my mindset
Big up
was,
Leo C.
Yes, so
CJSW
that's my
legend.
original mentor for radio.
Right.
Leo. The idea was, I said, I was at the university. We were able to pass these flyers out to this group, the Caribbean Students Association in Edmonton. And we had that pocket we can get 200-300 people to come out.
Right.
I was like, well, I can't be the only person here at the University of Calgary who's listening to the music.
Right.
Wouldn't it be even cooler knowing that I was listening to, at that point, I was listening to guys like Rice was DJing.
Right.
Richard Sixto was one of the first guys I heard on.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Crazy.
Yeah, so those are the guys that got me. Like, I was listening, I'm like, there is legitimately this, and I found that Richard's family was from Trinidad as well.
Right.
Now, Richard has this ridiculously deep voice. Like, you hear him, and
This is coming from you, so keep that in mind.
when you meet Richard, you're like, oh, that's the voice that comes out of that guy. But I was listening to this, and again, it made an impression on me. So,
Right.
Fortunately, I was able to meet with Leo, who's Jamaican, and Leo had been doing, I think it was already at like 15, 16 years, he had been doing
Right.
a Caribbean Link Up at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I just want to be a part of the show. I'm going to volunteer, whatever needs to be done. And anytime Leo was, gone, he would leave it to me to play. And then
Right.
you realize you have this open playlist to play anything that you want for
Right.
this 2.5 hour block. And I was hooked.
Right.
Hooked. And
Sounds very familiar.
yeah, and then Mysoon JUC, who was she music director at that point? Mysoon was?
Oh, that's before us. When
Yeah.
we started,
Definitely.
it was
Alex.
Okay. Yeah, so Don McSweeney was station manager.
Yeah, okay.
And Mysoon was
Definitely.
music director.
Crazy.
I had put the pitch in to do this hip-hop show. And I think it was a few months later, she had actually given me a call and asked me if I wanted to start. And I specifically remember it because it was the Saturday. That weekend was Carafest.
Right.
It was the Sunday.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so 1995 Sunday.
Jeez.
In
Carafest
June,
weekend.
Carafest
And it was
weekend.
June,
It was
yeah.
June. And that's where it started. And it was a 2.5 hour block
On Sunday.
on
Sunday.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
That will never happen.
No,
Well,
not now.
I mean,
No, to someone new.
No, of course not.
Oh, no,
Of course
not
not.
That's what I mean. That
because
will
that's-
never happen.
Yeah.
But it was
no.
the thing is, it was summer, and we had people who were, if you're a big CJSW fan, you'll notice that coming into the summer months, a lot of the people who were on air, that's when the slots tend to open up
exactly,
again.
for sure.
So I
Great.
jumped at it.
And back
You had
then,
to.
and I think back then you were like, they were probably like membership probably wasn't as
Solid.
As
strong,
solid as it
yeah.
was
no,
now.
No, it was. That's
Was
the
it?
thing. It was. It was just you weren't finding as much cultural
Diversity.
program.
Right.
Right. Everybody wanted to come on and do their rock show. They wanted to come on
Right.
and do their spoken word or whatever that they were very passionate about. But they didn't have, all these other, subgenres that were
Right,
going to come
right.
up. Right. But you find that a lot of the people who started, the cultural stuff are still there. Like the German show is still
Yeah.
there. Voice of Ethiopia is still there.
Radio Filipino holding it
Right.
down.
Those are still there, but all the other stuff was just people who were interested in radio wanted to do the same thing.
Right.
So this 2-hour block came up on Sunday from 4 to 6:30. Gave it to me, and I jumped
No
really
doubt.
high at it. No, I'd already done a party. I'd already been doing.
In Calgary.
Yeah, because I'd got, this was 93. I came back from Edmonton, so I
Right.
was already doing parties. I was doing parties with Wayne B was my DJ at that point. So for Carafest, I was the youth entertainment coordinator. So every year that they had the festival, we would put on
Right.
one of these parties.
Crazy.
We're at Claudio's,
Right. Holy smokes.
which
Claudius.
is what do they call it? What's that room now?
Claudio's?
It's like a restaurant now. It's right down from.
It's Rodney's.
Is that what it's called? I never go down that street.
Yeah, because it was it was whatever it was.
Yeah,
and the
because
drink,
it was the
It used to be the
drink,
drink,
and then
exactly.
but it's Rodney's now.
Tantra,
Exactly.
Owned
Yeah.
by a friend of ours.
Correct.
the Oyster House.
That's what. Yes.
This episode of The Dose is brought to you by
Rodney's
Rodney's
Oyster
Oyster
House.
House.
You shuck, we. So we did parties there, and we had like 600 plus people would come out to
Crazy.
those things. And yeah, Wayne tore it up. Wayne B tore it up. Al Testa tore it up.
Wayne, for me, like I want to have him on, and I'd love to have actually. Cause so when I started, I didn't become a DJ till a while later, but DJ Static was like in the game for a long last time, and he had first introduced me to Wayne. And then when I was in high school, like the only thing you need to have in your Walkman was a Wayne
mixtape. Yo, it's
Straight
the
up.
only tape.
And the thing, I have to talk to him. I hope when we do get him, I'm gonna clown him because his tapes were so dope. But he always put a damn K7 song on like every tape, and I'm just like, I hate these motherfuckers. It's like, this shit's terrible.
Yeah, Wayne invited me to his place just to say, that was my introduction to tracking. Because I was
Right.
like, how does this guy...
How does he do
it's
it?
Butter and it's layers and it's... Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then you see him track and I was like, that's it. I immediately went over to Island Beat and bought a Technique 1200. Immediately.
Think about that analog tracking. Jeez. At any rate, that's crazy.
It's amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing technology.
And then seeing like what would happen when like Pumps Golden Era
oh my
done
gosh.
entirely on a track,
Tracked.
an
my
analog
God.
8-track, right?
Oh wow, big up Pump. Like
Yeah.
I had to put my hand on my head when you even mentioned that mix.
Right. We should just have him over just to talk about that mix only.
That makes sense.
At any rate,
Okay, so you get on with Wayne.
right. You have the show now on Sundays.
So, well, you've thrown this party. Where was that? At Claudio's.
Yeah, we were doing mainly at Claudio's on the Saturdays.
Oh, it was weekly.
No. Saturdays of Carafest was when
Right.
I would
Okay.
book
I get it,
Wayne to do
Oh,
that
yeah.
sort of stuff.
I get it.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I think Gummy came back really that I started saying, okay, here's what's we want to do some parties and stuff like
Yeah.
that. There's a club called 1-800
Yes.
that Maurice used to play at. And one day I come down there. Maurice was like literally the king of the strip at that point. Like,
Yeah.
if there was any club that
Because that was when my sister too. So it was like Shark Shack.
you would follow
CJ's,
Maurice. We
yeah.
followed wherever Maurice
Yeah.
was playing, and then Maurice would play with Al Testa and Wayne on the weekends.
Oh man, that is
And that's
so
it.
crazy.
Yeah, and you are lined up to go see that. So Monday Night Mingles, it's a lineup at 9:00.
Yo,
My-
that was one of
Mingles
my
is-
first. Yeah,
that's one of my
that's
favorite nights.
crazy.
Yeah, I know, nuts, right? 25-cent drinks, like you. People have no idea what it
It was a different
it's
time.
Different
Y'all
time.
think you get lit?
Yeah, crazy. Different time. So I come to 1-800, and there's this Irish dude just DJing in the back, killing it, playing. What was he playing at the time? When you first meet PJ the Boy, what is the first thing that you're like? Who is this Irish
He's an
dude?
expressionless DJ.
Exactly.
Okay, so the funny thing is, I actually had met PJ before. So it's kind of trippy because the way that I met PJ is because he went to high school with my sister.
Okay.
So my sister, my sister's 5 years older than me. So, and I think PJ was 1 year young. At any rate, I just remember my sister had a party once, and PJ showed up with like John Leeway, like all those guys, still the same crew.
Yep. Still the same crew.
Jeff Bale,
Still the same crew.
right?
Jeff came to a party of mine the other day. We'll talk about that.
But yeah, so like those guys, and I remember we had a basketball net in the back, and we were like, I was just playing around, and then these guys came out and like they were shooting around with me, and I was like, oh my god, these guys are the coolest guys ever. And I remember PJ and Jeff made a tape together, and they gave it to me. And that was like, so to give you an idea of time frame, it was the first time I heard Cypress Hill's How I Could Just Kill a Man. So like 91, 92-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I was just like, yo, PJ's the man, right? But not realizing at that time, he was probably just in his bedroom still. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy, right? Like,
Yeah, just bedroom DJing.
Nah, I'll just give you all a little insight. PJ been throwing dancing since he was 16.
crazy, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he
Damn.
didn't have...
But that's why we gotta have him on the show so you can explain that to us.
He didn't have club residency or anything like that, but PJ...
Oh, I guess, that makes sense.
Right.
Hall parties and stuff like that.
If there
right.
was a hall party, school party, they would legitimately book a room and they would sell tickets in school. Like, they were running their own hustle.
Crazy.
Right, and I found it out when I met him and we started talking because I was hearing him, and Wayne had decided he was going to go play on his own at that point. Like, Wayne was just hot at that point.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, Wayne, listen, we can do this. I think I'd done a New Year's party with him. And we fell out because I was attempting to sell the tickets, but I went to Trinidad
Right.
for the New Year's. And I was like, listen, I'm going to set all this stuff up. You know, we'll sell the tickets out at HMV or whatever it is. And he realized, I mean, the more you think about it, is that I left a lot of it on him.
Right.
So at the end of it, he's like, well, why are we splitting this? I'm just going to do my own events.
Right.
So, and he was, let's
He's
call
out-
a spade a spade. He was the hottest
he
thing
was already-
at the
he's
time,
out there.
right?
He was out
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He was out here already.
Exactly. Didn't need me at that point.
He was I think probably the one DJ who kids in high school knew.
You got it.
Right, which is a big deal because
And he had an office. I put that in quotes. Like, you came to see Wayne at HMV South
no
Sunday.
doubt,
You
100%.
came,
Yeah.
right? So he could tell you anything. Here's the new CD you need to buy. It. Okay, done. Let's go. Right?
Yeah.
He was the man. So I'm left going, okay, if I want to still do these parties, I need to get myself affiliated with another disc jockey.
Right.
That's where PJ and I
Enter PJ.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? And then now my whole pitch was the show was catching a little bit more steam. The phones were ringing. You know, people were asking for this, that, and the other. And because the show was on Sundays, we said, well, let's do the show on the Sunday, and then every long weekend we'll just take the party directly after the show. And that was the birth of the long weekend edition.
Okay,
Yeah.
so hold on, rewind back. So the show's already been popping off for a couple of weeks,
No, months.
A couple of months.
Maybe a year.
but at the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
like at the beginning, like the first month of the show,
Yeah.
who's on the show?
Me.
Just you.
Me. I didn't even. I
No
wouldn't-
PJ,
Right.
no Kevin, no Kendall, no nobody.
Nobody. I
Okay.
wouldn't even tell you my name. It's just, I'm just some guy that's playing music.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so you've done the show by yourself for a couple of months.
Yeah.
It starts to pop off. You're getting calls, and it did pop off. It popped off quick.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It
I
did,
remember
it
that
did.
summer it came out.
It did. It popped quick.
I don't think I heard your first show. I'm pretty sure I heard your second show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I swear to God, I heard your second show, not the first show.
Yeah, I think when I realized that people were calling and telling me to stop talking because they were recording, and it was like multiple people telling me that.
No, man.
No, like people would
Really?
boldly call in, and then I had the Spy Hill crew who would be like, "Listen, we stop.
100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we stop what we're doing because we're listening."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I was like, okay, this is beyond me now. This
Right.
is right. There's people who are listening, so that's where I started just taking a certain level of pride in what it was, and I was like, okay, even if it's, I don't know how many people are calling, but if there are 50 people that are listening, there are 50 people I've connected with, and
Right.
that's my new social media posse.
100%.
Before the word
dude.
even existed.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So, like it's you're saying exactly how
How
I
our-
felt, how we felt probably when
I
we
think
started,
we all
right?
go through
Like,
it. That's
Yeah.
the thing, right? So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we've now
Now
reached-
we're pretty much at the end of the summer now, right?
a year on,
probably
Oh,
a year,
a year later.
a year on,
So
yeah,
a
like-
year later.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like just a couple of months, and then we did a long weekend.
No, it didn't pop that quickly.
right.
But parties and stuff.
I felt like it did.
well,
I felt like it did it when because I'll just a disclaimer. Like in 1995, I was in the 10th grade, and by the time the school year had started,
yeah,
you know, everybody I was talking to
was listening.
was already. We were talking about it. We'd be
Okay.
like, "Oh, yo, you're on the groove. Oh, I heard you send a shout out on the groove,
Right.
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah, it was like this your own audio message board, and it's just funny when I think back to how much it potentially could have been an impression to people. But yeah, you don't see that from the booth.
No, you
No,
don't.
you
You
don't
don't
know.
realize it.
You're blind to the-
I'm getting the iceberg effect. I'm seeing like the
Just
top
absolutely.
of the people who've actually picked up the phone to call.
Yeah.
And it's usually the same 5 people.
Yeah, it's Irwin, it's Bedrock, it's
Leslie Ann.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the same people who now, when you look at how much it's impacted them, they've done the same thing and moved on.
Right,
like,
right.
I never called into Richard Sixto or Rice when they were on air ever,
Right.
but I didn't miss their show
Right.
ever.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So then I started realizing that people were responding to me differently.
Right,
And I
right.
felt like now I'm the promoter dude. I wasn't just this dude that was over there.
Right.
And you know, you just start getting to push more. Like PJ's playing, but he's not always necessarily playing the songs that you want to hear, or the songs that you were just popping off on the radio or that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because at that point, it was myself and Gummy who were on the show.
Right.
No Bedrock yet. No Iaz. No.
No Kendall.
No. Actually, no. Kendall was the first one. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
This is how
Yeah.
old the brain is. But yeah, Awesome was the first, but he was the man with the Gucci socks at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can ask him about that.
Yo, Kendall, what up, bro?
Yeah.
What up, bro?
Yeah, so I remember I would go to see him.
That's awesome.
I think he was in Temple. His parents were.
I think so.
Yeah,
Kendall's,
so-
Kendall's.
yeah,
Yeah, because he lived right by Atu's house.
Yeah.
It was just like down. Yeah, okay.
And we would go talking about the vinyl. He introduced me to what's our record store in Inglewood? What am I talking about?
Recordland.
Recordland. Though I want to say play the record. I'm like, I don't live in Toronto. Recordland.
Yeah.
And yeah, he came on, and the show was just him and us back and forth, and then Gummy came back
Right.
from
Kendall is the official first co-host of the show.
Yeah,
And then we go to Gummy.
then we go to Gummy. And
Was this before Kendall had Friday?
no?
Okay, so it was kind of after Kendall, after
Kendall-
crossover ended.
Yeah,
The Groove birthed
Got it.
many shows.
yeah. He got his own show at that point. Chocolate was it Chocolate City?
I think so. Yeah.
No, Chocolate City was on before you.
I know, man. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Chocolate City was on before you.
I didn't know we were going to be talking about all this. I would have attempted to document this better
After
for the
you.
podcast. But it was all around that time that a lot of this stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure when you talk to every one of these hosts, they'll tell you exactly when
Right.
these things happen. But
So the groove is in full swing now.
yes, it's in full swing.
1996 now we're going.
6, 7, yes.
Right, so you guys are starting to throw the long weekend editions.
Yes.
Is the moniker Beat Matrix coined
No,
at this point?
not at
Okay,
all.
No, because it was still Flavor Productions at that
It
point.
was still Flavor.
Flavor.
Production.
Okay,
Or
yes.
it was Flavor,
Yes.
not still. It's just that was the beginning
That's
right.
of John and PJ.
That's right. They always were Flavor Production.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Right?
before you guys.
Yeah, and I was still Black Pearl, and I told
Right.
right, but I was like, the more I used it, I was like, this sounds like I'm throwing a reggae party.
Right.
So I just didn't use it. So I remember it was one of the times that we had actually gotten a residency for a period of time there at Coconut Joe's, and the party was Beat Matrix. Like Gummy and I sat down for, I want to say like a 4-hour period, just throwing out names,
Right,
attempting
brainstorming.
to,
Yeah.
just trying to come up with what is our moniker going to be. And I gave him Beat Matrix, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm all over it." So it was Beat Matrix featuring PJ the Boy. That's
Right.
how the parties went. Initially.
Right.
And we just kept putting that on everything. Beat Matrix featuring PJ the Boy, Beat Matrix, and then this became Beat Matrix.
Right.
Where we realized every event we were doing, PJ was involved.
Right.
And PJ actually started being more involved than us on many fronts.
Right.
But the name Beat Matrix had just gone to that point where
Right.
it was just, that's just where we were.
Right.
And then we started doing things like our New Year's parties. And
Right.
that's where it was like, okay, there's 1,000 people here?
Right.
So the New Year's party.
Mm-hmm.
So would
Is that
you say this
before
is
the Capitol?
They're all you see,
Around
they
the
were-
same,
but
right?
see,
Yeah, it was before, but they all birthed relatively close.
Right.
We were popping off as Beat Matrix, and then the Capitol, and we can get into
I
that.
just want to get the
Right.
years right, and I just want to
Oh,
get the
good luck.
no, but I just want to get the chronological. I just want to because you want to.
Sure.
Because I'm sure there's a handful of listeners that still want to visualize it.
Sure,
and then
no problem.
we'll even say people who don't know, so they understand where we're going. So is this
I can't give you the exact years.
you don't know if it's a 96 or 97.
No, and that's why I say it's within that period, and things were happening for us so fast at that point and this is probably why I am as anal as I am now with the soca stuff that I'm doing, where I document everything, because when people ask me about what happened with the groove, I just know from 95 to 2002 was one of the most formative periods in my life.
It
doubt.
shaped urban culture in Calgary.
But I
It did,
can't,
though.
Like, I have people who still will give me a tape of a show that was in. I don't have those tapes myself. Like,
Right.
I don't, and it irks me.
so-
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So if you have tapes of the groove recorded, please send them to Drew.
Yeah. Rip them
Please.
into MP3.
No,
Honestly,
because I
no. Give him the tape.
Yeah, they are
Give
his
him
technically.
Not mine.
Well,
Not
they're actually
mine.
CJSWs.
Exactly.